Hey guys, welcome to the Simplify Your Life podcast. It's Coach Simona and I'm glad you decided to tune in. What's up everyone? In today's podcast episode, we're going to talk about how to deal with information overload. And I will share with you 4 tips on how to prioritize what's truly important. Now let's jump right into it. Okay, I want to keep it real with you guys, so I'm going to briefly share with you my experience with information overload. I've always been into learning new things. Sometimes this would mean reading a few books on a subject or taking a couple of courses before finally deciding to take action. And while that made me a great college student and helped me many times when I wanted to learn how to do something myself without having to pay someone else, there have also been times when my mind got so cluttered that I couldn't remember what I really thought about something. If you like to prepare yourself the best way possible, or you're into planning every little detail of everything you do, you've probably struggled with information overload before. Even if we're just talking about writing a school paper or making a decision on buying a new camera for your YouTube channel, here are 4 things I've learned in the past few years that have tremendously helped me deal with information overload. My first tip is to do a regular brain dump. Sometimes we consume so much content and read so many different opinions on a topic that we end up feeling overwhelmed by all that information. What I advise you to do in those kinds of situations is to take a sheet of paper and write down everything that comes through your mind for 5 to 10 minutes. You can even set a timer if you want. Brain dumping is extremely important because it physically forces you to get out of your head and focus on emptying your mind from all those racing thoughts. My second tip is to turn off your devices and be silent. I'm not going to talk about meditation, although I obviously highly recommend it and mention it in almost every episode. I want you to simply find some time to be quiet with yourself. Sometimes information overload happens when we're too focused on things outside ourselves. And to have a little bit more balance, we need to turn the focus inwards instead. If you learn how to be present with any emotion that arises and see your thoughts objectively for exactly what they are, it will be much easier to handle information overload when it happens. Bringing more stillness and silence into your life will help you reconnect with your truth. And it will definitely help you find your direction amongst all the information you have already flooded your mind with. Tip number 3 is to watch out for cognitive biases. What do I mean by this? When you collect information on a certain subject, you will probably receive different opinions. And it's important to remember that opinions are not facts. The content you're consuming on the internet is made by other people who have their own cognitive biases and blind spots. And when they're presenting this information to you, they see it through their own lenses. What I mean by this is to always question what you read, listen to, or believe to be true. We all have cognitive biases, which is just a fancy way of saying that we all distort reality through our assumptions and prejudices. When you collect information to make better decisions, always ask yourself, is this a fact? That will help you have more clarity and will definitely make your life much easier. Tip number 4 is to understand that you'll never have enough information. Information overload often happens because we have that urge to learn more, find better, constantly educate ourselves on topics that may or may not need that much time or attention. When you think about it, there will always be more courses to take, more videos to watch, more books to read. But the question is, when will be the right time for you to take action? It's easy to fall into the so-called preparation trap when you're preparing for all the possible scenarios and constantly on the lookout for something better. But if you don't take action, where does that leave you? Even the smartest guy in the world will be outsmarted by someone who takes consistent action towards their goals. I'm giving you a little bit of tough love here, but I'm so guilty of overloading myself with information that I know this is the only way you may actually hear me. Information overload happens when you're too much in your head and not really connected to your body. When you take care of your needs and feel good about yourself, you will catch yourself way before you go down that road. And if you're struggling with moving ideas into action, check out episode 69 where I talked about how to take action. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you handle information overload? Let me know in the comments below. As always, make sure to like this episode if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on my weekly podcast episodes. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I love you guys, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.